Hey John, we're about to get started. We've just done your first bioresonance. I need your weight for one of them, so we'll connect during Messenger, and then I'll run another one that I can't do without that in there. But the first ones I've sent are your vitals. Oh my gosh, your gut. What a mess. So it is. It's stuff like, yeah, you're absolutely right with your digestive tract. You're not digesting anything. There were heaps of things like parasites and inflammatory hormones and like just lots and lots and lots of stuff. Like there's a big list of foods there at the beginning. At least half of them your body wasn't digesting. So no wonder you're feeling so unwell with just that going on in the background. This is Renergy. So we're going to get started. We'll start, well, actually, I'll just see. I'll see what your body wants to get started with before making a decision on what that's going to be. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so it's a bit chilly here. I always feel silly saying that to someone in Ireland. You know. Okay, I'm 100% John. Okay, we're only working on John's energy for the highest good. Permission to work on John's highest energy. Yep, good. Is there anything else we need to do to get more energy for John in circuit? No. Okay, good. Settle in. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see where we need to get started. So, okay, we need to start with, so is that the best place to start? Yeah. We need to start with some of your chakras. So in the bioresonance, it was actually really out. So it was, I think the first time I ran it, 5 out of 7 of your major chakras weren't working. Then I ran it again and it was 4, and then it basically ended up 1 was out. But now that I've got, what I'm going to ask the body to do, because this is for the highest good of John. We only want anything that's for the highest good. Okay, so the first one, the priority to get started with, is the throat chakra. So the throat chakra links in with the hyoid bone that sits in here. It's that little pokey outy bone on the throat. And then it also works with the parietal bones. And hold. So it's either first or third stage stress. And hold. Okay. It's third stage stress. So it's chronic fatigue of the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is about compassion and expression and being able to speak your truth and speak your mind without fear of craziness. So when it's not working, we feel inhibited and stuck and just jammed, and that can then expand into our life as well. When one of our senses is shut down, other things start to shut down as well. And in underneath the throat chakra, that is the chakra that feeds our bronchioles and our lungs, our vocal cords, but it's also connected with our digestive system as well. Let's have a look at the amygdala. Okay, so the amygdala is a part of the brain that has patterns in there of fight and flight and rage and anger and escape, submission, freeze, wanting to run away. But the one that's showing up for you is that the throat chakra is linked in with an old pain and punishment circuit. So something your nervous system has been trying to keep at bay and keep under control, because our ego doesn't like being stressed. So it does everything it can to calm things down. But it's in there, it's in there flicking away in the background, creating trauma for you, or accessing the trauma, or because of the trauma. Okay, still showing up. So let's have a look. So it was third stage stress before. So let's see what's happening. And hold. And hold. So that's taken it from third stage stress to second stage stress. Now it's overworking, over facilitated. Okay, we need a flower essence. Do we need a bark or an Aussie bush? An Aussie bush, okay. So box 1, box 2, box 2. Okay, so the flower essence is Sturt Desert Rose. Sturt Desert Rose is a really beautiful red flower from our outback in Australia. I'm sort of thinking maybe it's to do with victim mentality. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh no, that's Sturt Desert P. Sturt Desert Rose. Actually, the phrase at the beginning is sort of interesting given our last few years of shenanigans. It says, never feel guilty about learning. Never feel guilty about wisdom. This is called enlightenment. Yeah. So it's for guilt, low self-esteem, and feeling easily led. So the positive of it is about following our own inner convictions and morality to know what to do, what we need to do. So it's about strength and being true to ourselves. It helps with courage, conviction, feeling true to ourselves, and really good integrity. Okay, that's 7 drops. That's a huge dose. That feels like something that has been with you your whole life, that you will have overcome to a certain extent consciously. But when it's 7 drops, that tends to be that there's just something there. So it could be in your genetic patterning. We'll see when we get further down. So that was Sturt Desert Rose. We'll have a look at the affirmations at the end of that. I am now releasing all feelings of guilt and regret about the past. I am now releasing all feelings of guilt and regret about the past. And hold. Nope. And hold. Nope. Okay. So we'll throw the amygdala on again. Okay. So rather than the brain letting go of stuff from the past, your brain would rather escape rather than let go of the past. Sometimes that's because we don't want to acknowledge what's happened to us as well. We're happy moving on. We're happy just doing the best we can in the moment. But it's not always the best for us. As one client of mine most eloquently said once, healing sucks. That was dry. Gabby's hubby. I said, yes. Yes, it does sometimes. I am now releasing all feelings of guilt and regret about the past. And hold. And hold. That's better. So that's unlocking and locking the way it's supposed to. And now the next one associated with that Sturt Desert Rose is I am now true to myself in all areas of my life. I am now true to myself in all areas of my life. There's some frustration in there around that. And it's jamming the lymphatics. So the lymphatic system, it's a cleansing system of the body, but it also takes neurotransmitters around the body. So for there to be some frustration and anger around the inability up till now to be true to yourself in all areas of your life, that sort of lets me know that the neurotransmitters really aren't traveling around very nicely around the body. And this is why movement is so important. It's why sunshine is so important. It's why purified water is so important. We've got to get that lymph moving, the redox signaling molecules. We've got to get whatever we need in there, like high potency vitamin C, whatever we need to get things going. So that our lymph can be as clean as it. I haven't got to the second scan at the moment, which has the lymphatic system and what's going on in there. But with the second body system, there's a scan called the body system scan, and there's 13 body systems it goes through, and it will give you the 5 biggest problems associated with an area, the 5 biggest causes associated with the area, the 5 biggest emotions associated with an area, the vitals, and then it will also give suggestions. And you know, sometimes they don't make a lot of sense. Like, just say you're a non-smoker and it says to stop tobacco, nightshades, that sort of thing. Well, that can be secondhand smoke. It can be the stuff in the atmosphere. It can be the stuff, you know, all the pollutants we're breathing in every day. It can be the nightshade family, actually, which is, you know, your potatoes and eggplants, capsicums, that sort of thing. So anyway, I didn't say that straight up, but that's just an example sometimes. And sometimes it might say water, and you might say, well, I'm drinking 3 litres of water a day. But if you're not absorbing your water, you're not getting it in there. So sometimes drinking it isn't the only thing. Okay. I am now true to myself in all areas of my life. I am now true to myself in all areas of my life. And hold. And hold. And hold. Beautiful. Okay. So let me go back and check that throat chakra. Beautiful. So now base chakra is showing up. The combination with the base chakra is the base chakra and the adrenal glands and the sphenoid bone. And hold. And hold. Oh, that one's only first stage stress. Piece of cake. So with each chakra, there's a cranial organ combination. So when we put in that combination, so there's chakra, energy comes down, comes in through our cranial bones, comes down through the body, and then diffuses out through each cranial system. So this one's the base chakra. It's about staying safe and grounded on the planet. It is fun to be a human. It is fun to be a human. And hold. And hold. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go back. See if there's anything else we need to do in relation to that chakra. No, not in there. Cool. So now I'm going to have a quick squiz at the second scan. Like, the big thing showing up with the first, you were absolutely spot on in your email. Your gut's a mess, your food has been a mess. It's brought a whole bunch of foods back into balance. But obviously, if we don't sort that out, it'll keep going out. So I'm just going to have a quick look through the body systems. I'll stack in anything that feels appropriate. Let's have a look. So for example, in the circulation, there's a whole bunch of acute emotions in there. So I might even just stack some of these in there, because then when we do the survival stuff, it'll be in relation to a lot of these things that are quite specific for you. In relation to shock, stress, fear of death, suppressed feelings, and traumas from the past. And hold. Right. And those first emotions that are in your circulation, yeah, right. So there's a little bit of inflammation in the immune system associated with them, but there's also an energy mismatch to them. So your emotional brain doesn't want to accept the emotional stuff going on. So it just wants to keep hiding it away. These are acute emotions in the circulation at the moment. So we need to get your body to see the emotions, because we can't deal with things unless we see them, unless we feel them and acknowledge them. Okay, connective tissue. Yeah, right. So same again, it's the emotional gear that your nervous system wants stacked in as part of this balance. So in relation to stress, shyness, avoidance, sleep conflict, and those feelings of being useless. And hold, 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 hold. Interesting. So same again, there's an energy mismatch to them, and there's a little bit of immune challenge. So it's been found that when we are stressed or anxious or depressed or traumatized, that actually lowers our immune system. Yours is fairly strong, like 3 out of 4 of the immune pathways are fine, but there's an energy mismatch, which means your body doesn't recognize things. So sometimes we will do everything we can to avoid recognizing something, because then we don't have to deal with it. So an energy mismatch is when we are not paying full attention because we don't want to see something.
Is that all in the nervous system?
That one was in the, so these ones are in the connective tissue. Because I'm asking the body what it wants stacked in, and so far it hasn't been any of the causes like thyroid and stuff. It's actually only wanting the emotions in there initially, which is very interesting. So the next one is the digestive system. And same again, it's the emotional gear it wants in there. So, and you'll hear like there's similarities, like, because this is checking thousands of different frequencies, but there's a few very similar ones going on. So again, in relation to shock, shyness, serenity, skepticism, and creative conflict. Okay, so in relation to those in the amygdala, there's a pain and punishment circuit linked in there as well. And interesting, this is the digestive vitals, and your gallbladder meridian is showing up as being one of the things that's really challenged. So the gallbladder meridian runs from the head all the way down the side and out the side of the leg. So I'll just run that a few times as well. Sometimes if we have scar tissue that's in our body somewhere, that scar tissue can block meridian function. So the next one showing up is the endocrine system. Okay, so the emotions showing up in here, once again, we've had shock, stress, chronic selfishness is showing up, and it's sort of funny because that sounds like a bad thing. But when we are trying to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people, or when we are trying to take care of ourselves for another reason, it can be looked at by politicians and people as being selfish. But when it comes down to us, if we don't look after ourselves, no one's going to. But then we can have guilt about feeling selfish when actually no one else is going to take care of us if we don't. No one else is going to put ourselves first if we don't. So I sort of see selfishness as a very different thing these days. And there's also some indifference and self-deception going on in the endocrine system. Indifference, self-deception. Yeah, so the emotional gear is switching off the pleasure reward centers in the brain. So the next area to show up is the lymphatic system. Yeah, right. It's funny, there's a whole bunch of other things going on in these, but the only thing your body wants in there, besides the emotional gear, is a vitamin D deficiency. So there's a vitamin D deficiency. We need vitamin D for the gut hugely. When we're looking at bloods from the doctors, so this is asking about a vitamin D deficiency, and this is asking the immune system. Yeah. So nothing about the immune system functions well with low vitamin D. Here in Australia, when you get a blood test, they say that a deficiency is less than 50. But when we have health issues and you're trying to heal your gut, you need it up over 100. And it's even better if it's up over 150 if there's a possibility for any autoimmune disease in the body or chronic illness. And keeping in mind, when we do have a day full of sunshine, we get about 25,000 units of vitamin D. So we can really take in a lot of vitamin D. When our body is not absorbing it, our cell membranes are often challenged. So, yeah, no, was it vitamin D you mentioned that you don't absorb very well? Vitamin D? Oh, I know it was calcium, magnesium. Anyway, so there will be some cleanup we have to do of the cell membranes in one way or another. Right. And then the emotional gear in there that we need to put in again, shyness, unworthiness, self-expression, completion conflict, and unpleasant feelings. Okay, so interesting. As I go down through the scan a bit more, nothing else is showing up, including the emotional gear. So that just lets me know we've got enough stuff stacked in. Your body's gone. That's it. Time to get to work. Okay, so I might stop and then start again, and we'll start with the next bit, which is the survival patterns. Okay, see you in a minute.